Okay, we're putting in the wing struts on the Slicko build, and I found that it would probably be easier to do a YouTube video than to try to explain everything. So what I did is I took a square and measured straight up from the wing spar and drew a line right there on the foam, and then measured down 3/8 of an inch. I took and cut a nice slot clean through the foam right at that point all the way through. Next thing we do is we lay a ruler on the leading edge of the wing, and you make a mark at 11.5 inches out and about 3/8 of an inch, quarter to 3/8 of an inch in from the leading edge spar, and you cut a slot. Now this is going to line up, get this poked in here. You just kind of eyeball it to see where it's going to fall, and you're going to cut a slot at an angle. So you just cut a slot in here like this. Ain't going to hurt anything. You make the slot about 3/4 inch long, and then you'll find you kind of line it up over this brace here where everything is looking good, and you take and you cut another slot in the foam, and you cut down, you cut it at an angle that is following this carbon rod, and you cut it down here about 5/8, 3/4 of an inch. Then when you go to put the rod in, you start up here at the top, poke it clean through, find your slot you cut, work it down in there a little bit until you get down into the wing, and then hold it into that slot and roll it down into the wing until the rod just disappears on the other side of the body. Make sure the body's staying fairly straight. Then take your little thin ruler and use it as a straight edge. Go down in the slot and push that rod down so it's straight. Take it out, and you'll see that everything is all nice and straight now. You can come up here to the top and you can sight the body to make sure it doesn't have any waves in it. You can look at the rod. The first one's the most important because that kind of sets for everything else. We'll build the rest of the struts off of that one. Now we're ready to actually glue the thing in. So what I'm going to do is, as you see, you can roll it back up and out, and I will take welder glue and I'll open this slot up here and I'll fill that with glue. I'll open that up and fill with glue. I'll put glue in this hole, and then I'll put a little bit of glue right here where that goes and a little on this, and I'll again push these guys back down in here, roll them in, and repeat the process with the straight edge, and get everything set where it's all pushed down in there nice and straight and everything, but do not glue this yet. Let this set up first. Use your cans for weights where everything stays flat. Make sure this is not bowed or crowned, it's straight. Let it set up for, I want to say, about an hour and a half, because you're doing everything wet and this is contact cement. When this is all dry, then you can work this back out and slobber some glue in there, put it back in, make sure it's straight and it's not poking out the other side, and then just leave it alone for another hour and a half, and from that you can build the others in here. The other rods will go into the same area and they will cross each other, so you just have to figure out where they're going to go. It might be easier to take one rod and continue this line up and down, so this rod would end up being on the trailing edge, but the same general process takes place. So that's the next step. It's the most fiddly step of the whole build, I think, but once you can get through it, it's you're good to go. Have fun.